accept or correct the minutes of Wednesday, July 17th board meeting? Do I need a motion for that?
Most of them.
Do I have a motion? Thank you. Second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Can I get a motion to accept the treasurer's report dated July 2024?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Any amendments or addendums to the agenda?
Mr. President, I have one on
Okay.
page 6, number 9. It is recommended to approve Anthony Amadeo Jr. as the Ambridge Area High School Assistant Principal, athletic director, at a salary of $102,000 as per the terms of the Act 93 agreement, effective 8/22/2024, pending receipt of current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employees to the Act 168 screening.
Okay,
That
Thank
would be all for me. Thank you.
thank you very much. Ms. Young, I believe we have some recognitions.
Yes, we do. I'd like to first call up Mr. DiCaprio. He is our new middle school principal. Would you like to say a few words and introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. I didn't prepare anything really, but I just wanted to be here and just be a face to the name and say thank you very much for entrusting me. I won't take it lightly. I'll be there early and leave late a lot of nights. But I really appreciate this opportunity. It's a wonderful community. It's been awesome meeting like a lot of the families, even tonight, meeting all the staff, and I can't wait to meet all the students. So thank you very much for entrusting me. I won't forget that. I don't take that lightly. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
And I did tell them that I know you're busy working on getting ready for the first day, so they understand.
Have a
Okay.
great
Thank
first
you.
day for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. I believe we also have the elementary school PTO reports.
President of Economy. A few things that we've done in the last couple of years for the students is a fun run, a teddy bear sleepover, school dances for our older grades, pictures with Santa and the Easter Bunny, Santa shop in which we use community crafters instead of the commercialized Santa shop vendors. We have a readathon to promote reading at home as well as in the classroom. We also received the Story Walk grant that Beaver County Educational Trust offers. That gave us the opportunity to do an after-school story event that included dinner, 5 story stations, and a free book for everyone. During the holiday season, we help our school families with a program called Holiday Hugs. Families within Economy Elementary can reach out to me if they need a bit of help. We then send out a volunteer form for donations of toys or pajamas. We have helped 65 families the past 2 years with this program. We also have a birthday room for the underprivileged students. They can pick a box of cake mix, icing, and candles, and a birthday present. We also have special birthday treats if they are unable to bring their own treat from home to share with their classroom friends. We have an all-day fun and field day in May to celebrate our year of school. During the year, we also host family nights. This past year, we have done a wheelie rodeo, which is one of the kids' absolute favorites. We have a bingo, a game night, dollar book sales, movie night, and I hope to add on a bowling and farm night this year. This past year, we have done a Harlem Wizard game for the community. We plan to do the same January 16th this upcoming year. To present the Wizards, Economy Elementary also did the WizFit Challenge, promoting health and fitness to our students. The kids were able to receive full prizes such as basketballs, drawstring bags, and bracelets. The PTA sponsors all the assemblies. We have about 4 to 5 a year. We sponsor the field trips, a special 4th grade science events, a week-long science trailer. We do a 5th grade graduation party, which last year we did Top Golf. We sponsor pre-K and kindergarten orientation and graduation events. I've also done the 5th grade graduation ceremony myself for our students the past 2 years. We have a scholastic book fair twice a year. we were able to donate 2 Gaga Ball kits as well as an outdoor classroom to our playground. This was due to us having COVID money when we were shut down and didn't have to pay for the end of year events. At Economy Elementary, we make sure our previous students know that we are making a difference, that they are making a difference in our community. We welcome each year alumni to help run our Princess Ball in January. And this past year, I welcomed one of our own from the middle school, Juniors Honor Society, to organize the sports nights for our families. We have an amazing relationship with our teachers and our school staff who help us tremendously with all the activities we provide our students. We're blessed to have a great team.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for all you do.
He's okay. He's okay.
It's okay.
He's
He can
okay.
tell
He's
us something
all
if he
right.
wants to.
Okay, buddy.
Highland Elementary. Last year, I was acting president, and I was actually voted to a president in April. So, last year, we had 2 book fairs, one in the fall, one in the spring, and during both fairs, we gave 1 book to every student at Highlands. So we gave a total of 600 books away last year. Great. We had a successful Goodies with the Guests in December. We did cookies and cocoa. We had successful sandwich shop as well. We did Santa pictures and Easter Bunny pictures. We had a Royal Ball family event where all the princesses and princes could come and have a good time. They danced and made their own crown jewels. We provided lunch all 5 days during Teacher Appreciation Week for the teachers and staff. Every student at Highland receives a free yearbook paid by the PTO. We helped build the makerspace that is there at Highlands now for its grand opening and last April. And we also provided funds for busing for field trips. This year, we want to provide experiences for our students, and we have 3 assemblies scheduled. We want to host a Halloween dance as well as another Royal Ball. We plan on having cookies with community heroes with our local police and fire departments. We are going to have 2 book fairs. They're already scheduled. And we're planning another fantastic teacher appreciation week. And we're actively planning throughout to provide experiences for our Highland kids.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. Before moving to public comment, I would give the floor. Mr. Zachi has asked for the floor. So, Mr. Zachi, I would defer to you.
Thank you. Just want to make a quick statement here. I sit here this evening with far too much to say and far too little energy to expend on many words. From the start of my own term, I have said and acted accordingly, not only wanting the best for this district, but more specifically its faculty, staff, and children. I believe we have yet to do that, and it's not for lack of trying. We have up to 13 years of a child's life to make an impact, prepare them for the world. 13 years to mold a mind for a lifetime. Many we have for less. Ambridge has a proud history that dates many, many decades. Unfortunately, since my graduation from this place 24 years ago, I no longer feel that I recognize the place that I grew up. The buildings change, the people change, but the legacy and culture should remain no matter what. We have all witnessed, especially in the recent past, is a sad reality of leadership that is not capable of continuing on this legacy. Some of the community have chosen to elect their friends instead of patriots with fresh ideas who want to take this place to the next level. Those elected have become selfish and power hungry, only willing to hire friends, retain inadequately performing friends, and worst of all, not standing up for the kids of this district. Often, doing the right thing is a human characteristic for good people. Many on this stage and many in every community in America lack this trait, fueling the decline of our community and country. Recently, we have seen mass exoduses of some of the area's best teachers, and in recent years, and most recently, 3 administrators in a matter of 4 to 6 weeks. I also feel there is more to come. Replacing these individuals has proven to be much harder than in past years. We need to spend our time and resources on these individuals that do stay here to retain them, not waste our time searching for replacements every few years. A little bit goes a long way. I just wish everyone realized that. A little time, a little money, and showing you care are far less expensive than a revolving door. Pinching pennies at the expense of culture should no longer be the norm. For my board colleagues, shouldn't we take a page from the book we've been promoting for the past few years, Bridgers Build Up? At this point in time, it's not easy to come forward with, but I'm going to ask for the voluntary resignation of Superintendent Dr. Pasquarella. We have all have our own opinions on the leadership that is being provided per the contract, but I personally have hit my limit on what I can take, given the last few days of summer. We have not only seen scheduling and transportation not just becoming late, but at all, and it's a complete and utter failure. To this exact point, someone must be held responsible and accountable. Summer has lasted approximately 80 days since we left in June. And on the 12th hour, on the eve of school starting, we barely have all the information our kids need to go to school tomorrow morning. This gives me no confidence, not just for tomorrow's start of school, but the school year in its entirety. Mr. Carpenter, thank you for the time. And for moving forward on this evening, consider all my votes to be abstained. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zacci. Yep. I typically don't make comment on things like this, but I feel strongly that it is probably time. Difficult to hear what we just heard. However, I'm just going to tell you my short story. I moved back here 10 years ago, almost 11, after being away from Beaver County for years. But I grew up in Beaver County and went to Freedom. But my family lived in Ambridge and is from Ambridge, going back generations. I live not very far from my great-grandmother's grave. So I have deep connection to this community, and I think we all recognize that it's different today than it was years ago. And the place that I grew up probably half of my life in. But I think everybody sitting at this desk does this for the right reasons, because I think it's impossible not to. There's no money, there's no fame. It's largely heat. There's not a whole lot of good news by the time we hear about it. By the time we hear about it, it's already a crap show. For the sake of not saying what I typically would, but I believe the same of the administrators sitting at this table, the administrators sitting in the seats tonight, and every single administrator, teacher, staff member, and every other employee at this school district. We all knew, I believe, when we took this gig, that this was going to be a difficult situation. We all knew the financial situation we walked into. We all knew that we were all going to have to sacrifice, which I know everybody has done, in order to get our arms wrapped around it. And I believe, which Dr. Pasquarella and I have talked about at length, that we're getting to the point where we can start to see the light at the end of that recovery tunnel, which is through the hard work, hours of every teacher, administrator, and staff member at any capacity at this school has given to do more with less. Anybody who watches the news, anybody who knows how to use Google, you're less than 5 minutes away from seeing that much of what he talked about tonight is not an Ambridge specific issue. These are issues that are nationwide. These are issues that places like North Allegheny, where my wife works, now has issues with. They are struggling to hire people, which means we're now struggling to compete with schools like that. And we could raise taxes every single year, which we haven't done. But we could do it every single year and we would still lose people to schools like that, because this is not the same tax base as Quaker Valley. I don't know how many times in the past week or two I've had Quaker Valley brought up to me. They have a little different tax base than we do. So I would urge all of you, it's very easy to look at both sides of the coin. You can concentrate on the negative sides of the coin, which we know we're dealing with. Every single person up here gets every single email. We get every single phone call. This bus situation, he's right, 12th hour. But guess what? We got to fight through it. And your administrative team has been doing that for the last 3 days, putting hours in that you wouldn't believe if I told you. So I would ask that we concentrate on building bridges up instead of tearing bridges down. To the point of Dr. Pasquarella, in that short 10 years, I've seen 5 or 6. I don't know which is the right answer, but it's 5 or 6 that have come in here and been a superintendent. Now, I ask you to consider whether you think all 5 or 6 of them were bad, or maybe 5 or 6 of them had a bad deal. We need to start looking at employment. He's right about retention, and retention starts with having the stability of leadership for long enough where you can start to build bridges back, start to build this district into something that is sustainable, which was always our intent when we took this gig. I think we're getting there. But I would ask that it's very easy to look at the negatives, and we hear a lot of that. It's much harder to look at the positives, but it's really not that hard. It's as easy as going to a game, looking at some of the improvements that we've done on grades. There's a lot of positivity there. So I would ask for your support. This district needs it now more than ever. And with that, I thank you in advance for it. Thank you.
President Carpenter, I'd like to make a comment.
Yes.
And I'm only going to talk about one thing that Mr. Zachi brought up. At 10 o'clock this morning, I got an email from Seneca Valley School District, who also uses ABC Transit, that the bus schedules were being posted in the student portals. So it's not just an Ambridge issue. It is an issue in other school districts. That's my comment.
With that, is there any other commentary on that point?
I would just like to
Yes.
speak up just for a minute or so. I know a lot of people in this room, a lot of people seated up at the board, and I would like to say that I don't think there's a person, regardless of differences that I have with some people on this board, that is seated right now that are not here for the best interest of the kids. I give my heart and soul to these kids. I'll continue to do that, whether I'm sitting here or I'm sitting out there. And I don't appreciate if that innuendo was a comment for me, but I can tell you that I believe in the administration here. I believe in the administrators sitting in the audience. Nobody works harder than they do. They've been going back and forth with this busing, relatively staying one evening till 4 a.m, just to try to do what they could for these kids. So I appreciate everybody on this board, whether we're on the same side or a different side when it comes time to voting. But I can assure you that I feel everybody on this board is on here for a right reason. You know, you don't do it for a pat on the back. You put a lot of hard energy and time into doing what we believe is best for these kids. And I look forward to moving forward with who I am working with currently and doing what's best for our kids and giving a bright and successful future to them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, if no further commentary, I'd like to move to public comment. At this time, district residents may come forward to comment on agenda items only. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each resident will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once. This period is for public comment prior to the standing committee reports and will be limited to 1/2 hour. Although not required, board members desiring to address questions or concerns may do so after the residents' comments or questions or at the conclusion of the committee reports. There will still be an opportunity for residents to comment on any business relevant to the Ambridge Area School District under old and new business at the end of the meeting.
That she was gonna have a hard time doing 3 already. That being said, this bus issue should have already been in the works or finding out where it is. Bus schedules going out, doing those kind of communications. That's the transportation's job. So that should have been in the works. I'm sorry that they've been working a lot of extra hours, but that is that job. Now you have on the page 6, for a contract of 5 years. I asked that you table that, maybe do 2 years or a year to prove that they can handle that position. You did 90,000 last board meeting, now you want to go up to 150,000. How about you take that $60,000 difference and put it back into another employee to come in and do transportation to help out that part? You talk about leadership, about having that ability to do that. You also have to have the people down below doing it. Only having administration top heavy on pay salaries is not helping the lower people retain. That needs to also be addressed. In order to do that, we have to be competitive too and offer some higher amounts to bring those people in and keep them here while they're here. Not just administration. So giving them higher amounts of salary and more positions of work of people that left isn't going to solve that problem. So I ask that you make an educated decision and table that to relook at it, come back and maybe do 2 years rather than 5. Because then if it doesn't work out, then we're back in the financial situation that we continue to stay in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go off, we're stepping out here, but let's go swiftly.
Good evening, Mr. Kowal.
Items number 1 and number 2. Hiring an assistant superintendent, I don't have a problem with that. If I did a little bit of research on what the average salary is for assistant superintendent in the United States, the average superintendent, assistant superintendent salary is $114,000. That's average. We want to pay 150. Something wrong with that. Number 2, you have to look at school code. School code says you can only give her a 3-year contract rather than a 5-year contract because she's never done the job before. So I don't know how you come up with this 5-year deal, but if you look at school code, it stays right in there. As far as the fussing goes, this is something that's 2.5 months to get cleared up, and right now my phone's ringing off the hook. So whoever's at fault needs to address it, get it done. This last questions I have is, are you going to hire a director of special education also? Someone else down the road? And is this person that's going to be the assistant superintendent, we're going to work 24 hours a day? If you're not going to be able to do all those jobs. So you need to think about what you're going to do with this $150,000. It's outrageous to even think about it. If you look at Hopewell over there, they're not paying $150,000. They got assistant superintendent, look what they're paying. I guarantee it's not even more than 120. So you guys need to look at it's my money you're spending. And to give somebody a 5-year deal, wrong. School code says 3 years, and you need to renegotiate your salary. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kowal.
2917 Commonwealth Rose Road. I have some of the same concerns as Mr. Zacci did. I have a question regarding Ms. Filipowski's position as the assistant superintendent. I'm concerned about the 6 job titles that she held previously. I see on the agenda that there is a position open for coordinator of curriculum, instruction, and assessment. What does that consist of? Who is doing the special education? Who's going to be in charge of transportation? I'm also concerned about the overturn of our administration positions. In the last couple of years, we have been through 2 business managers, 2 directors of facilities, an elementary principal, 2 middle school principals, many tech support employees, and even more teachers, not to mention our recent resignation of the assistant superintendent, Mr. Barry King. I know I've asked a couple of times last year about why we do not have exit interviews for all these employees that leave Ambridge School District. I was told that the board was looking into that. Where are we with that?
You have additional time. My apologies.
I think we should be concerned about why we have so many resignations, because a happy staff makes for happy kids. So are we gonna start doing exit interviews when we're having so many people transfer to other school districts? Because many people have exit interviews, even if they're at the Dollar General. Because we need to know why those excellent teachers, excellent administration are leaving us.
I agree with that completely. I said it last week. I would love an
I
exit
know
interview.
teachers from middle school as well as the high school that have emailed me and said, like, we've asked for exit interviews and we're getting refused now. So that's an issue too. Like, there's teachers that have been here for 10, 15 years and they're like, okay, we're down to another place. Not even getting a better position, they're just getting the same position in different school districts.
Well, in addition to the exit interviews, maybe we can look at when school starts some surveys, anonymous
Yes.
surveys going out to teachers, just to get some feedback on ways that we can help. Not looking,
Or slacking.
yeah, not saying spend $1 million, but we need to know our downfalls because we don't get to hear everything up here.
Yes.
So,
And then like
Thank
you
you.
come in the buildings. I hear them talking, so I know what they're mad about, but you guys don't know what they're mad about. You guys don't know what upsets them.
Right.
And you can't keep on going to work, being miserable. You work with little kids, you want to be excited and happy to be there. Just like I am when I go.
Thank you.
thank you. If you want to say something,
It's 3 minutes.
Melinda, if he wants
He
to
can
tell us
speak. Let
something,
him
he's
speak.
welcome
It's
to
3
tell us
minutes.
whatever.
Go
you
ahead,
want.
buddy.
Lord knows my daughter goes.
Go ahead.
Okay.
We will.
Favorite speaker. I'm so sorry.
Hey, buddy.
That was a great speech. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, moving on to committee reports. I'll take Mrs. Ramasco's. Education technology. We already read these, right? Except
Correct.
for 6. So I'm going to read number 6 since it's new. Cheer team UCA regional. It's recommended to approve the student attendance and application of the student discipline code for the high school varsity cheerleaders to travel to, wow, that one's a mouthful, Oguntangi High School in Delaware, Ohio, to participate in the Universal Cheerleaders Association Regionals Cheerleading Competition from October 26th through the 27th, 2024. Reimbursement for expenses shall be governed by Board Policy 240, student contests, competitions, and conditioned on attendance and event participation. Parents and/or guardians will be required to sign permission and release forms. Chaperones will be required to have current clearances, satisfactory drug screening, TB testing, and responses by current former employers to Act 168 screening. With that, I'd like to make a motion for 1 through 6.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Frenchco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevic?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Finance and budget, Mr. Zachi isn't here. Any volunteers? If not, I'll take it.
I'll read it for him.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kovacevic.
The addition of tax exoneration from prior week, it is recommended to approve the Borough of Ambridge request dated August 6, 2024 to exonerate delinquent 2024 school taxes pursuant to the Pennsylvania Property Donation Statute for tax parcels 12-006-0101-010 and 12-006.0101-002 with the condition that should either property sell in the future to a non-tax exempt entity, a pro rata share of the proceeds will be remitted to the district, less the borough's direct costs of acquisition. I do have a question on what this is.
Let me address that. So the borough acquired those specific properties and it appears to me through a property donation. So Pennsylvania law allows municipality to take a property through the property donation statute. And in doing so, it seeks to exonerate all of the delinquent taxes that may be associated with it. At this time, the borough has communicated that their intention is to hold the property for green space and for potential development in the future. The latter part of the motion is our request and our condition that in the event that they should sell those properties or any one of those properties in the future, that a pro rata portion of those proceeds be returned to the district after their cost of acquisition are satisfied. So that is a mechanism that's provided. It's typically done through a petition to exonerate taxes directly in the Court of Common Pleas, but they do the underlying right, and that process is provided for by statute. So
Where are these properties?
I don't know.
Sorry.
If we find out, let me know.
Sure.
That's my question. Are we able to find out?
Yeah.
Yes, and
Yeah.
in terms of timing, that I would not although we received a request in a form from the borough to execute and return to them. I mean, tax liens do tend to stay there until satisfied. And so although it may impede their progress to market those properties as being free and clear of any liens immediately, I'm happy to look at that information provided to the board in advance of next month's meeting if you wish to table that.
That would be greatly appreciated.
Yep, happy to.
Okay, so do we have a motion for 1 through 5?
I'd like to make a motion to table number 5. Or did you make a motion for?
I think we are tabling number 5.
Oh,
I'd second that.
To be stable.
Yeah, I would do so. And so that motion is a secondary motion. It stands apart. You can consider that separately, and that would have primacy over the
1
the
through
motion
4.
for 1 through 5.
So you have a motion to table number 5, yes? Second, I heard.
Yes.
Roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevic?
Yes, please.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Do I have a motion to move forward with 1 through 4?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevic?
Yes.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, thank you. Building and grounds, Mr. Metz is not here. I could take that one too. State Street freezer. Actually, I think we read that one already. Yeah, both have been read. Okay, so I'd like to make a motion to approve 1 through 2.
So moved.
I second.
Roll, please.
Ms. Fisher?
Yes.
Ms. Fusco?
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Kovacevic?
Yes, please.
Ms. Young?
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Athletics, Mrs. Fisher.
I don't have anything to report this evening, but I would like to congratulate Mr. Tony Amadeo on his appointment tonight as our Assistant Principal and Athletic Director. I have a lot of faith in Tony. He's a good man. Our students love him. I believe Dr. Zupsik and Mr. Amadeo work very well together. So congratulations to Tony on his new position.
Okay, thank you, Ms.
Once we accept it.
Thanks, Mrs.
I
Fisher.
spoke a little soon.
Public Relations, Ms. Fitzgill.
The only thing I have this evening is Coach Mysick asked me to pass along. She is starting the Youth Flag Football League, as I mentioned last week, which will start at Walter Panic next week. And I just wanted to say, have a great first day, everyone. That's all. Thank you, Mr. Carpenter.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Fitzgill. Steering and Rules, Mrs. Kehoe.
I'd like to move for the adoption of items 1 through 4 as presented.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Roll. Please.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko,
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe.
Yes.
Mr. Kavasevich,
Yes, please.
Ms. Young,
Yes.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Legislation.
I
Ms.
have
Fitzgill.
nothing this evening, President Carpenter. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Kavasevic, I believe we did it to you again.
No, I'm on here.
Oh, you are salary
Okay.
schedule and labor relations.
Yeah, majority of the time, second week.
We're gonna get there.
I have nothing to.
We're
bring
gonna get
forward.
you something there.
Thank you.
Personnel, Ms. Young.
Motion to accept 1 through 9 as amended, please.
Okay, thank you.
So moved.
Thank you. Roll, please.
Can I?
Oh,
Before
yes.
you do so, in light of the comments made, and I will say, I don't know everything in the school code. I feel pretty good about, and I'm looking at the school code on my phone, but it's only this big and it doesn't give me the whole thing. And so what I would suggest for item number 2, just to be safe and to ensure that there is no gap in the provision of services to students, that the motion read for the position. It is recommended to approve resolution number 2425-4, a resolution appointing Dr. Amy Filipowski to the position of Assistant Superintendent for a term up to 5 years, beginning August 21st, 2024, at a starting salary of $150,000 and authorizing its related terms as permitted by law. I will
Oh.
give that to you. Thank you. And so the understanding is this, the resolution as written is for 5 years. The school code, as I'm referring to it right now, sections 1076 and 1077 allow a board to appoint an assistant superintendent for a term between 3 to 5 years. The board has elected at this time to consider a term of 5 years. However, in the event that there is another section that my teeny tiny phone can't find for me right now, and we find otherwise, we will reform those documents to reflect the maximum permitted for an initial term for an assistant superintendent.
Okay. So could you please give that verbiage to us one more time?
Happy to. It is recommended to approve resolution number 2024-2025-4, a resolution appointing Dr. Amy Filipowski to the position of Assistant Superintendent for a term up to 5 years, beginning August 21st, 2024, at a salary of $150,000 and authorizing its related terms as permitted by law.
Can we vote on that as is now
Yeah.
that you've read that?
You may.
Okay. I'm sorry, Ms. Young. Did you make a motion?
Yes,
She did.
Okay, thank you. Did I hear a
So
second?
moved.
All right, thank you. Roll, please.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Ms. Fitzko,
Yes.
Mrs. Kehoe,
Yes.
Mr. Kavasevich,
Not at this time. No.
Young,
Yes, please.
Mr. Carpenter,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. This brings us to my report. I think I already gave it, so I'm not going to give it again. But I am looking forward to another great year, and I do believe it will be another great year. Rocky start, but we're working hard to fix that. And come to a game. I'm excited to go to a game tomorrow night. I'm a little bummed I'm missing the soccer game out there now, but maybe I can catch a little bit after we're done here. But with that, I turn to our esteemed barrister.
No report.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Pascarella.
Thank you, Mr. Carpenter. Yeah, exciting start to the school year coming up. We're looking forward to everybody. I'd like to thank all of our staff who've helped to get everything ready, working extra hard to fix anything that might have occurred, whether it be scheduling or busing. We appreciate that. We appreciate the parents' patience as we work through that. And it's going to be an exciting year. We're looking forward to that. One point I will say is we have a presentation that we got to hear from, paid for out of grant dollars, and it's called Rachel's Challenge. And some of us, well, our whole staff pretty much got to hear that, and it's going to be offered to the community as well. Dr. Filipowski, congratulations, but also can you tell me again when that event is going to be? August 30th, before 4 to 6 for the football game. I encourage everybody to come out if you can and hear that presentation. I'll tell you what, and a lot of professional development and keynote speakers that I've had the opportunity to hear, this was one of the best I've ever heard. And it stems from, and I don't want to steal the presentation because I surely can't deliver it the way the presenter did, but it stemmed from a young lady named Rachel Joy Scott, who was the first student that was unfortunately lost her life at the Columbine shooting. And it really talks about how a little random act of kindness can have a chain reaction. And I'll let them deliver that a lot better. But I think sometimes when we think about this, we have to also remember that kindness goes a long way. Saying something nice about somebody, figuring out a way to find that person when they're down and building them up is a really important thing. So we all have certain days where they can be difficult for all of us, but if we keep trying our best and doing what we believe is best for kids, no matter how challenging that might be, and trying to find a way to be kind in a very difficult world, we can learn a lot from kids. Our middle school presenter, Sydney Cradaville, talked a little bit about that too, about how sometimes teachers themselves, adults, not just teachers, staff, or students, come in and they've had a little bit of a bad day or a rough start to the morning, but how telling them they did something well really could change their day. And that chain reaction could really have a positive impact on the next person and the next person. So I would just say for all of us, I know things can be difficult and tough for all of us, but thank you for what you do each and every day, whether you're a PTO member, whether you help coach, whether you do things for kids, whether you do it for the staff, whether you do all these things for the right reasons. And please understand that your kindness that you're doing for these kids and for the district will have a chain reaction. And I hope you have the opportunity to come out and listen to that, because I think we can't all be Rachel Joy Scott, unfortunately, but we could all try to be a little bit more like her when we can. And I think it'll go a long way for our kids and for our community. So I'm not perfect, that's for sure, but I'll continue to try to do my very best for the school district and the kids, along with all of our staff, parents. We're all here for the same purpose, to try to do the very best that we can for the kids. So with that, I encourage you to come to hear that. And I'm looking forward to a good start to the school year. Should there be concerns or questions, as always, we'll do our best to try to rectify those as soon as we can. Congratulations, Dr. Filipowski. I'd like to thank you for all of your hard work today and every day, and those large jobs, and your support of the staff and the people. Your work ethic is something that should be admired, and your willingness to go above and beyond, it should also be admired. So we appreciate you, what you do every day, along with everyone else. I'd also like to thank the PTO. I'm glad you stayed. Thanks for all that you do for the kids. They love it. So it might not seem like it all the time, and I know it's busy and you're working hard, and how are you going to come up with all this? But those kids love it. You can see it in their face. So I appreciate that, and I know they appreciate it, and we appreciate you. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you. It's now time for old and new business. Any district resident who desires to comment on any business relevant to Ambridge area school district should now come forward. Each person must state their first and last name and address prior to speaking. Each person will be allowed 3 minutes and can speak only once. Okay, with that. All right, is there a motion to
We have a minute.
adjourn?
We have a minute.
He said
Yeah,
aye.
sure. He's got this, Mom. Thank you. With that, thank you, everybody, for hanging with us tonight. I appreciate it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned. Thank you.